Are you tired of your garden tractor having a vertical shaft on the engine and a horizontal shaft on the transmission? Would you like to change that? Well, I've got the answer for you. How about a Predator 670 Vtwin swap? No more vertical shaft, no more belt twisting 90-degree bull crap. Nah, we're just gonna go straight horizontal to horizontal. Make it a simple setup. Stay tuned to see how I do it.
All right, we're gonna start the project off by getting this old engine out of here, getting it out of the way. I got the tractor raised up using my overhead winch so I can get underneath here comfortably. I tell you what, mounting this winch, it's a Harbor Freight 2,500 pound winch. Mounting that up in the ceiling rafters is one of the best things I've ever done. I use this quite a bit, and I use it to hoist the engine up out of here. As you see, I also use it to raise the tractor up to get underneath it to work on it. You know, being 53 years old and, you know, only having one leg, I try to do everything I can to make it possible to be out here doing this type of stuff. But getting everything disconnected, the belt, the pulley, and, you know, not taking all the bolts out because, of course, the engine would just fall out of the tractor. But here I am. I'm going to lower it down onto the ground, and I'm going to push the tractor outside so I can turn it around so that the front of the tractor is, you know, towards the end of the shop where the winch is mounted, just to make things easier on me. Let me tell you something. Pushing a tractor like this around on pavement with a locked differential is not very fun. It tends to bind up, and it makes it, you know, when you're trying to turn it especially, it makes it harder to push. Just, you know, to throw that out there. But here I'm just disconnecting stuff that needs to be disconnected. I'm pulling the air cleaner because I got to get underneath there to disconnect the throttle cable and the choke cable. And here I finally got smart and grabbed the power tool instead of sitting there using those disgusting hand tools. Gonna get those disconnected, and then you know, there's a little clip that holds the cables to the side of the motor, the fan shroud. Gonna get those disconnected, get the fuel line undone, get the electrical cable to the starter undone. There's not a whole lot on these lawnmower engines or lawn tractor engines to disconnect, but you just got to make sure you get everything unhooked, and then it'll be time for me to use some ratchet straps and lower that winch cable down and yeet this thing up out of there. tell you for sure it ain't safe. Tell you that for sure. It's out of here. 13 millimeter, a half inch on the brackets. Let's go with 7/16. Survey says it is not a 7/16. I was it a true half inch, or is it going to be like a 12 mil? I don't know if you can make those Chinese makers metric. This one is 12 mil. It is a 12 mil.
cut this zip tie right here, undo all these wire connections, start undoing these cables and unbolting. There. Ignition box off. Okay. Let's test fit this mother. Okay, got it sitting in there, maybe where I want it. I think I'm going to try taking that battery tray out and sliding it back some more. But I think we're going to have an issue with this front tire going into the engine if I turn left and compress the suspension at the same time. So I can't move it back or towards that passenger side any, because the pulley has to line up. So that's where it needs to be as far as how far it hangs over this side. Good news is, I should have got it on camera, but the hood fits. It's within like a ½ inch of that air intake there. So I'd have to either trim out around it or drill a bunch of holes in the hood so that air can get in. But like I said, I think I'm going to take the engine out, take that battery tray out, and see what it looks like further back. Alright, test fitting the hood. Believe it or not, it fits. I was going to have to trim the hood anyway for tire clearance. Look how tight of a fit we got there. So yeah, I'll either need to trim the hood around the front of the engine or at least drill a bunch of holes through the hood. Not sure which I prefer. I've seen what most people do is they trim a nice little arch nice and tight around the engine. I might do that. But I removed the battery tray to scooch the engine back as far as I could without getting into this sheet metal. So I guess I could go back further, but there's no reason to. I think I'm behind the center line of the front axle. I think I'm completely,
I have no idea what you just said.
the entire engine is behind the front axle. So I don't know if that's where I want to be or if I want to come back further forward. We'll put some pictures online and get some input. It's just sitting there mocked into place. Nothing's been welded in, nothing's been bolted yet, so. Alright, stuck a couple pieces of flat stock that I cut short, basically maybe a couple little shims, to limit the up travel on this side. And I do believe that'll get me where I need to be. If I also, which I need to do anyway, put some stops on the steering, because the more I limit that steering, see, that would get into the frame anyway. So if I limited the steering to about here, that would be all right as well. So I'm going to let this down, shift the engine back over to where I had it, and then see where that's at. All right, let's try this. I raised the engine up by about 1 inch. I put a couple of pieces of 1-inch square tubing underneath the plate. I actually had to temporarily add another flat plate because I didn't want that little skinny leg of the engine plate just resting on straight on the 1-inch square tubing. I didn't want it to slide off. So anyway, so let's see what that does for us. This tire's off the ground, so that's max compression. I still have those shims in there. Probably be taking those out because that is pretty much as far as I'll ever turn. I'll be setting my steering stops probably right about there. And yeah, we got plenty of room. So that'll work. And now I've got to, decide front to rear placement. I might come a little further forward. I don't know yet. But I'm liking that. I didn't really like the idea of putting the engine up an inch higher because that kind of raises the center of gravity, but I think it'll work out. I think it'll be okay. All right, here's what we got going on for the engine mount. We got the engine plate here. We got it welded to 2 pieces of 1x1 square tubing. Okay. I did that because I needed to raise the engine up a little bit for front tire clearance. We got this plate right here. This is a piece of the frame that I cut out. I combined 2 frames together to make one longer frame, so I had plenty of extra frame section left over. I had to cut. There was, it was rolled over, so I had to cut that part out to make a flat plate. That's why it's kind of wavy. But it doesn't matter because A, it's not going to be seen, and B, it's just structural. Now with just that plate in there, I was worried about sagging. I could see it sagging a little bit. So took some more 1x1 square tubing and welded it in here between the original plates that mounted the original engine. And this plate also is what secures part of the front axle. So by tying these together, that should also stiffen up my front axle. Maybe. We'll see. Can't hurt, but this is super strong. My welds don't look the greatest. I am getting better, but they are strong. I did get good penetration.
That's what she said. Or he said.
So yeah, like that. Then this goes on. I've got holes drilled in the frame in the right place to bolt this on. I believe that's how this plate goes. Yep. I could weld it on, but I think I want to leave it bolt on just in case. No particular reason. I can't think of a good reason. But I've already test fit the engine a few times, and I know this plate's going to need to be way over here close to the frame. And you got the 2 slots that comes on the passenger side. I know that much. So this is about where this plate is going to live. And once I get it set 100% sure, I'm going to weld the bottom of this, the 1x1 square tubing. I'm going to weld it to this plate on both sides. I don't think I'll be able to get in there to weld the inside, so I'll just weld real good on this outside, and then that'll be the motor mount. All right, got it ready to go. Got this engine plate, got a little paint on it, except for where I'm going to need to weld. I take those sections off. So it is time to drop the engine back into place for one of the last times. If I need to pull it from this point forward, it'll get unbolted and pulled. So the mount will be all set. Sorry you didn't get most of that. I had the camera positioned poorly. I got a belt for it, 105 inch, my best guess. Ha-ha! Not a bad guess. Got one idler pulley down there just kind of temporarily in place to hold the bottom of the belt up. Hell, that pulley could be raised up. And then my clutch pulley is going to be right about here. And I got all kinds of room that I can slide the engine forward. So I could either maybe use this belt or step down maybe to like 102 inch. But I am impressed at my math slash...
That's the dumbest thing you could have said! What are you, an idiot?
Slash? But I am impressed at my math slash calculations.
What did he say?
One more time. But I am impressed at my math slash guessing abilities.
It's about damn time.
Let's see, what all did I have to go by here? I had a 140-inch belt that's going to go on the deck of that Hustler over there. I used that and saw that was way too long. And then the longest other belt I had was an 84-inch belt, something like that. And so I kind of saw how short that came up. I measured the distance between center line of the crankshaft to the center line of the transmission pulley. That was 39 inches, so right off the bat you double that. Then you add half the circumference of each pulley. So that's how I kind of came up with 100. The math told me I should go with like about 101, 102, but my gut told me 105. So that's what I went with. I'm pretty impressed. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the factory exhaust system on this Predator 670 Vtwin engine. When I say take a look at it, what I mean is we're going to watch this thing get yanked off of this engine, because I've got several reasons for removing this. Number one is hood clearance. I'm already going to have enough issues with the hood clearance on this thing. Number two, I did a lot of research on the Predator 670, and this factory muffler has unequal lengths from one side of the engine to the other, from one bank to the other. So Predator attempted to fix this by changing the jet size of the carburetors. Well, on a lot of these, they screwed up and they put the bigger jet on the wrong side, so it just really messes things up. You pick up instantly like about 2 horsepower by removing this and just putting like straight pipes or a free-flowing muffler on there, because this thing is very restrictive. It's heavy. And I guess the third and most important reason is I can't leave shit stock. So let's go ahead and remove this thing, get it out of the way, and talk about what we're going to do next, okay? All right, so what I'm looking at doing here, after I come over here and see why the hell this hood is tweaked so far that one way. Okay. Anyway, what I'm looking at doing is one of the first things I need to figure out or fix is this air filter, this Amazon special. I had the hood closed, so I wasn't too worried about it, but now that I got the hood open, I want the filter sitting on there. I don't want dirt and stuff getting down into that carburetor. But anyway, I can't tighten this clamp up. You tighten the clamp up and it just pushes it right off the thing. Its adapter is just totally smooth, and if anything, it's tapered out. I need to figure out something. But I also need to figure out a way to either turn this thing or leave it straight up like this and put a cool looking hood scoop on. Haven't decided which. I need to kind of, stop trying to do so much custom on this tractor before I ever get it out in the mud for the first time. So back to the exhaust. Man, this is really bothering me. Okay. Exhaust. I'm sorry, I'm getting exhausted.
You're not funny.
To save time and money, what I plan on doing is, at first I was thinking, oh great, I can just throw this muffler up on eBay or something, get a few bucks out of it, but nah, what would the fun be there? I need to cut the exhaust pipes off of this muffler, and I want to cut them as close to the actual muffler as I can. That'll give me a good starting point for my custom exhaust. Once I get those cut and kind of get them on there and play around with the positioning, then I can kind of start to get an idea of the exhaust I'm going to build from there. So why don't we go ahead and do that? I think the first thing we're going to do is cut these mounting legs off. That'll give us more room to get in here and get closer, to cut these off as close as I can to the actual muffler. So let's do that. All right. So yeah, I think I want to take this muffler apart so I can use the flanges and everything else. And, oh, hey, come here. Let me show you something. All right, this is the stock muffler off of my Predator 670 Vtwin. I am going to take it apart. First off, I want these flanges right here to build my custom exhaust off of. So we'll be cutting those off. We'll be cutting off these mounting feet. And it's got a spark arrestor right here. Let's go see if I could get it off. See how tight this screw is. Ooh, that's tight.
That's what she said. Or he said.
Got it. It's loose. Yep. Spark arrestor off. Save that. Never know. I've heard of some places where you ride where they require a spark arrestor, so don't know if that would work on my custom exhaust or not. But yeah, I think I'm about ready to whack these off. Oh, come on! Let me just think about how I want to do that. I was going to use my new Sawzall, but the blade would be getting in there, so I think I'm just going to use my old zippy wheel. My old trusty zippy wheel. I got to find where I set my safety glasses down, find where I left Mr. Zippy Wheel. I don't have to raise my voice when I walk away from the camera. I got to stop doing that. There's Mr. Zippy Wheel. Hello, Zippy Wheel. Now if I could just find my safety glasses. Okay, let's see how much noise we can make. Yep, and I run up against this little, let me go ahead and cut this strap off, this mounting strap. Now that I cut that mounting strap off, maybe I can get in here with Mr. Equalizer. Okay, there's one flange. Set that aside. Close enough. We got our two exhaust flanges. All right, well, we got a start. Wasn't really ready to tackle the exhaust today, but just wanted to start getting this cut apart. Filming this episode of Stumpy's Adventures took place over the course of about a month. Once I got to the part of the project where I am now, it was getting too hot for me to want to be out here working. So over the course of the last 6 days or so, I've been installing air conditioning out here in the shop. I installed a 22,000 BTU window unit in this window back here that you can't see. If you do the math, that unit should be able to cool a place or a space roughly twice the size of what I have here. But with zero insulation in this shop, and it does have an attic, it's got a peaked roof, it just could not keep up with the heat load. So over the past 4 days or so, I've been installing insulation. I'm about a little more than halfway done insulating the ceiling, and then I'm going to move on to insulating the overhead door, which is metal and allows heat to just travel right through. And then once I'm to that spot, I intend on getting back to work on Stump Hauler. That is, unless I decide to go ahead and insulate a couple of walls right here where I'm at. Excuse me. Just so I can put up some like OSB board or something, clean up all of this back here, make it a little more presentable. I will be resuming work in the near future, so there will definitely be a second part to this video, to this engine swap video. If you want to see how I stretch the frame on Stump Hauler, then check out the video right here. And if you'd like to see an unboxing video of the Predator 670, then check out this video right here. If you want to be notified when I upload part 2 of this video, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Until we meet again, toodles! Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, it's clear space to go this way. Oh, my old bones are creaking.